Today, a story worthy of the pen of Edgar Allan Poe. Except this particular nightmare is not a work of fiction. It's 1674, and Basingstoke housewife Alice Blunden has overindulged in her favorite tipple of poppy water, a tincture consisting of sherry wine, opium, saffron, cinnamon, and cloves. Found unconscious and unresponsive by a neighbour, a doctor was called to the stricken woman's house, but such was the depth of her comatose state, the physician could find no dignity of life and pronounced her dead. Her husband William was away in London on business, but when informed of the news of his wife's demise, asked for a postponement of her funeral until he could return to pay his final respects. Alice's relations, however, decided that due to the hot weather and absence of cold storage, that her internment should proceed as soon as possible. Consequently, Alice was buried the following day at Holy Ghost Cemetary. 2 days after the burial, 2 boys were playing in the nearby churchyard, when to their dismay they heard spine-chilling cries emanating from the newly dug grave. The startled boys ran to tell their schoolteacher the grisly experience, only to be admonished by the man for lying. The following day, however, the teacher went to the cemetery and to his horror heard faint whimpering cries coming from the grave. Astonished, he quickly summoned help, and when the coffin was opened, the sight that greeted the men was horrific in the extreme. Alice's body was found to be most lamentable beaten due to self-inflicted injuries sustained by the poor entombed woman's. Being unable to detect any signs of life, those present lowered Alice back into the ground, with the view of summoning the coroner the next morning. A guard was posted overnight to ensure the exhumed grave remained untouched, but late in the evening a torrential downpour saw the man retreat to the nearest pub. When the grave was again uncovered the following morning, it was found that Alice had torn off a great part of her winding sheet, scratched herself in several places, and in her desperation had ripped off her own mouth. It was all in gore blood, but the coroner did conclude that the poor woman was indeed deceased. What she must have endured prior to her eventual demise must have been abject terror, as she tried to claw her way from the grave.